Hey everyone, welcome back to Smart Investing. Three stocks I have for you today for the banking sector well, are, not is. Is will be one. So anyways, I have EBMT, FMBI, and NWG. First thing and foremost, I believe this stock is actually delisted. And again, I compiled this list 2 years ago. I don't know if I mentioned it in my previous videos, but yeah, FMBI, I believe it's delisted right before I made this video when I looked at it real quick, when I did a quick check. So anyhow, first ticker symbol is EBMT. As we can see, it looks like an awful chart, and I'll explain why in a moment. So, ticker symbol EBMT, Eagle Bancorp at $14.25. Markets are closed. Again, this video is for June 19th. It is 3:18 p.m. So, just letting you guys know, this is like real time. This is as current as it gets, as recent as it gets. Literally, I'm throwing out these videos like by the hour. So I'm just pretty much evaluating like I always do on the spot. And you guys are learning about evaluations and, seeing how I analyze these stocks and see if they are good or not. So on the first page, I'm seeing the market cap is really low. Again, I've mentioned this before. Personally, I don't care about market cap, but Wall Street likes to see larger market caps. Companies are in the billions in general for them to be respected. Yes, even though they are under a billion, they can still be good companies. They're considered higher risk. But again, that might include more potential. Just because a stock and share price is cheap doesn't mean it's a bad stock. It just means that people don't like the stock or appreciate it or don't see the value in it as of yet because it hasn't been realized as a good stock or company. So anyhow, moving on to the rest of the page, 52-week high is close to 20. 52-week low is about 11 and change. A little bit below average on the change per year. Usually it's about that $10 differential. It just missed that estimate. So the 52-week high and low eliminates this stock in my professional experience. This would eliminate it for it to be considered a day trading stock. One of the other factors, like I mentioned, which is the volume and the market cap, the price sometimes varies depending if it's doable, if it's exciting enough for you to jump into it, if it's cheap enough, and depending on the sector as well. It might be okay, but in this case, it doesn't seem like it. We still have to see the charts in order to see what happens. But anyways, the last gain was actually 7%. That's actually not a bad gain. I would expect a huge move up, even though that doesn't seem like much, 7%. Just based on the share price, that would be considered a pretty big move. Almost $1 for the 7%. Out of the $14. So me personally, I would consider that a big move. $1 out of the 14. So moving on to the rest of the page here. Earnings are 1.5, look pretty weak. Dividends are pretty weak. Dividend yield is at 3.86. I'm not liking it. Price to book is under 3. Which is telling me it's undervalued. It's at 0.7, so it's really undervalued. What else do we have here? Let's look at the chart. Some charting, definitely below its average of the 5-year and way below its 200 EMA, which is at close to 18 bucks. I have it at $18.05, 200 EMA, and the share price again, it's at 14. So we're looking at a $4 difference that it would need to gain, and that is definitely a huge drop and continuation from month to month, even all the way to that point. So I really don't see any potential in the stock whatsoever. Yes, there is some movement here, but I just don't see it breaking definitely to new highs. I just don't see it. Not a popular stock and not a likable stock at all. And Wall Street definitely is not paying attention to stocks like these. So far, it's a no. Analysts have rated it 100% hold, as you can see here. Moving on to the quant ratings, which is the highest rating that we have, is 7.63. The value that they have for the stock, which is the highest rating, obviously, which gives it the cheap price, which is that is what considers it the value. I don't really look at the key factors for the quant ratings. I just kind of think about it in my own terms, and Webull has its own terms. Honestly think that they do that out of confusion, because there's other ways to analyze the way things are done, if that makes any sense. There's different ways to getting to a final answer is what I'm pretty much getting at. So looking at the actual estimates here, we have in Q2, they really missed estimates by a wide margin. Then they missed again by a narrow margin. Then they met. They're starting to rise expectations from Q4 on. A slight downgrade for the earnings in Q1, but then that slight upgrade in Q2. So they're expecting about, 48 cents. Let me see. So it's actually 46, which is the estimate. I'm not too crazy about bank stocks anyway, but we're going to go over them. Really low margins here. Like, these are pretty awful margins. But I understand they're a small company. They're trying to grow. They have to initiate some kind of growth or some kind of movement, some kind of uptrend, just to stay alive, I guess. Net margins are pretty decent. Debt loads are at 91%, typical, but I hate seeing debt loads like that. Net income is at 10 million. Revenue is at 89 million. So we have here balance sheet at 91%. So obviously that has to do with the debt load. Cash flow is where it's at. We're going to see what is going on with that. So they would have to have at least 200 million to be breaking even. So no, they are negative cash flow. So obviously with the downtrend in the chart and the negative cash flow and other factors as well, I'm going to say no to this stock, and we're going to move on to the next one. Next one up that we have is FMBI. I think this was the one that was delisted. Let me check. Yes, this is the one that was delisted. As we can see in 2022. Oh, wait. That was in February. Let me see. Yeah, so this company actually got delisted from the stock market, FMBI. So as we can see here, the last time this was actually active was actually before that bank run. So right here, You can see signs at 2150 on February 15th going on an uptrend, but again, it wasn't enough to get it out of this downtrend. Ever since 2020, pretty much stayed flat. Even though you saw that fake uptrend, it kind of went down and stood flat again. So I don't know what happened to this company. Maybe they sold it, somebody bought it out. I have no news on it. So moving on from this stock, if you have this stock or you hear about this stock, it's definitely fake. It doesn't exist anymore. So FMBI, beware that stock. It is no longer a public company traded on the stock market. Next one up that we have is, and the last one is NWG, NatWest Group. Judging by the share price, okay, then market cap is fairly respectable for Wall Street standards. Volume is at 1.78. Can definitely be a day trade stock. Pretty cheap, not too expensive. Let's see the 52-week high and low. 52-week high and low. It needs more range than that. I mean, we're looking only like about a $3 difference. That's just horrible. So apparently, yes, there is a lot of volume, but the range on this, just based on the 52-week high and low, it looks awful. All around, it looks awful. I wouldn't hold this stock for this year. I wouldn't even consider next year. Earnings are not even at $1 a share for the year. Price book and PE, they're awful. I mean, it's way too undervalued. I mean, it can be a really high risk and hopefully gain some momentum, but I don't see it happening with this stock. We're going to look at the charting. So we have here, it's pretty much breaking even. It's not by much, so only like $1 and change above from the 200. And again, it's not much range on the 52-week high and low. And then the last recent uptrend was in October. Then it went to the new high in February. And then from there, it dropped right back down again. I don't see this going into new highs. I see this kind of doing a fake rally, going back down again. Just because of the uncertainty, as they say, with the banking sector. So far, I don't see any positivity for this stock. Momentum, the only momentum I can see is the volume because they're trying to keep it active. I'm sure people are probably shorting this just because it's closer to the higher end on the 52-week high rather than the low. If I were a betting man, I'd consider this. It might jump to $7 at most. If it passes $7.80, I'd be surprised. But even then, I would think it's a fake rally. This is not a stock to really jump into. It doesn't make any sense to like this stock for the long term or even the short term. Short term meaning I mean month to month. Yeah, maybe for the day, but very very carefully. But I doubt it. I doubt the volume will hold up for till the rest of the year. I'd be surprised if the volume holds up for this stock for the rest of the year. And if it is, this is definitely a stock that's getting shorted. Definitely. So, anyhow, moving on to the estimates. It's not giving me estimates. You see all these old numbers from 2021. And I don't see any estimates in gray if they've beaten anything or have they missed anything. It's not showing me any of that. I guess Wall Street doesn't like it for it to be even looked at. Earnings horrible. Net margins are pretty decent. Pretty decent. High debt loads at all close to mid 90s, as you can see here, year to year, and then they're increasing their debt. It's not by much that they're increasing, but an increase is an increase. I mean, those debt levels are insanely high. Net income, this is a UK company. I already see the currency that is graded for the pound. So we have here revenue is about the same. Cash flow, I mean, this is just insanely horrible. Money management. We have like let's see, 30 billion in negative cash flow. Like seriously, that's almost as high as the market cap. I just don't get it. Very horrible money management, and I'm definitely gonna say no, a big X. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in a few hours, in like 2 more hours. I still have about 3 more videos. Stay tuned, and again, I'll catch you guys real soon.